Hey everyone, I'm Lance Wilson, specialist partner with the Microsoft Audience Network, and today we're going to be talking about the top 5 creative strategies for native advertising. So I think what's really important when talking about the creative strategies for native advertising is to really understand what native is, and how it's different from maybe traditional display. So first and foremost, the form of native ads. So native ads match the visual design of the experience that they live within and the look and feel of they look and feel like natural content on the pages and the domains that they're on. And they function differently as well as they must behave consistently with the native user experience and just like the natural content within the pages. So understanding the definition of native is really important to understand why we're following these best practices for native advertising. So maybe just showing you a couple of examples. This first example here, we have a native ad specifically for the Wall Street Journal. In this example, you can see how this fits naturally within the content of the pages. Another example is this is from Pinterest. So this is how the native ad fits within the natural flow and the content for the Pinterest site. Now it's a little different with the social aspect, but you can kind of get an idea of how native looks as compared to maybe display banner ads. In this example, same from the Wall Street Journal. And you can see that the right HBO Max ad actually is not a native ad, but is a display ad. So that is not native, and so that is a little bit of background of what native is, native advertising, and native ads. And so that's why we're going to talk about these 5 strategies. Specifically for native ads. And you can see a great example of what our native network looks like on the Microsoft Audience Network on some of the ads that we have on MSN, Edge, and Outlook. And you can see how the ads fit within the content of the page itself and look natural and function in that same format as the other content on the page. So let's jump into what these strategies, these top 5 creative native strategies are. So the first one is when creating your native ads, you really want to use lifestyle images with no logo or text. And that's because they can be distracting in the ad itself and it won't necessarily fit within the content of the page. And it's also because there might be a text overlay. And if there's a text overlay and you have a logo or text that is lays over it, it can look messy and cluttered. And it's also really important. This is our opportunity to showcase elements of your brand in these ads. You can see whether it's athletic apparel you're showcasing or, a small business situation that you might have. So that's the first uh, top creative strategy to use. The second one is to avoid image clutter. You definitely want to have clean images with a single center of focus to help your ad stand out. You can see here in this example for the car, the focus, the single center of focus is the vehicle. So it's very clear. And the other one with the scooter with the lady riding on top, it's very clear of what the single center of focus is. So it's clean and there's no clutter that's confusing for the consumer. Our next top 5 strategy is to target or is the targeting power of your title. So to call out your audience or product when possible. So in this first example, we're calling out family or like parents. That's the audience that you're wanting to target. So think about your ads and the audience you're going after. Can you put that audience in the title itself? The other example here is with the Xbox wireless headset. It's specifically calling out the product that you're trying to advertise for. And so I think really focusing on, hey, what is my audience and how can I call out that audience in my title is very impactful. And you can see a lot of success when targeting your users that way. Our next strategy is really think about how you can front load your titles with an eye-catching main point. Number lists are a great way to entice a user to click. You can see this a lot kind of in the financial services segment where you can kind of call out ways and steps and numbered steps and ways how they can utilize or utilize your product, I should say. Now, I think this is really good because it really shows how native ads can fit within the content of the page with these numbered lists. So I do find these to be really effective as far as increasing click-through rates and performance by having those front-loaded titles with numbered lists. Now, the fifth strategy really is not necessarily a strategy for the creative itself, but it's how important it is to run multiple assets in your campaigns, and then to build a plan to refresh your images to maximize your performance. Now, when you go live, you should always go live with at least 3 to 5 ads, testing different iterations of images and headlines, just to make sure that you're getting the best performance out of your ads. For example, our Microsoft Audience Network global frequency cap is set at 6x views per week per user. And so it's really important to do creative audit or a refresh every 30 days or so to make sure that you're avoiding that user fatigue for your ads. So really set that calendar, and update those images and assets and make sure that you have multiple so you're getting the best performance for your ads. So I know we talked about these top 5 creative strategies. Now, there's some ways that you can leverage and utilize the Microsoft Audience Network with your assets. One of the simple ways that we have at Microsoft is that you are actually able to import your existing assets from Facebook or Google. It's really slick, and it is time saving. So if you already are running ads on those networks and you want to bring the same ones over, you can bring them over through these import tools, and it's super easy. Another tool that we have available for our advertisers is actually our Shutterstock image library. So we have given all of our advertisers access to the Shutterstock image library. So you're just able to go through the UI itself. You're going to create an ad. Maybe you don't have assets yourself, and so you're going to use the library, and you can just do a simple search, and you'll get access to millions of high quality images that then you can use for your campaigns on the Microsoft Audience Network. And then the great thing also within our tool is you can actually see a preview of what the images themselves will look like as you upload. And it's really clean. You can recrop, replace, and really see what those assets are going to look like on the network. So really some awesome tools on the Microsoft Audience Network for your native assets. So just to cap it off, the top 5 creative best practices: using lifestyle images, avoiding image clutter, and then really calling out your audience or product when possible, and then front loading those titles with some eye catching main points like numbered lists. And don't forget to run multiple assets and build a plan to refresh those images. Thanks everyone for joining today. Once again, you can find this video on microsoftadvertising.com/native, where we have a ton of webcasts and videos about native advertising and Microsoft advertising, the Microsoft Audience Network. So thanks for joining everyone today. Have a good one.